Hello everyone, welcome to Reactify Labs. Today I will talk about prototype design pattern. Let me write it down here. Prototype pattern, and there is spelling mistake. Great. So now that I have written prototype pattern, I'll explain it. I think 50% work is done, right? Just kidding. Okay, let's start. What is prototype pattern? Prototype design pattern is basically a creational design pattern which lets us copy existing objects without making our code dependent on the classes. Okay, the definition might be complex or not conveying enough of the information. So let's do what we usually do. Understand with an example. Okay. So let's say we have something called uh, any object, because it's something in which I may not be able to give a real life example, because uh, it's only in the software that you can just control C and control V, copy paste, but you cannot do it for real life things. For example, let's say there is a car, you cannot copy paste a car, you have to make a new car from scratch. So there may not be a good example, but I will just try to give an example. Let's say there is a car, hypothetically, say, let's assume we are in year 5000 AD. At that time it's possible to just copy paste a car. Okay, so there is a car. I know my drawing is really good, so please don't appreciate me or try to give me an award for it. Okay, yeah, this, oh my god, it looks more realistic than a real car. That's fine. Okay, let's say there is a car, and inside this car there is a button which is called clone. Okay, as soon as you press the button clone, it creates a new car, exact same car. Okay, then what would happen? You buy a car for yourself and you can just clone it and give it to everybody, right? This is good. But yeah, this is what prototype is. You have one object, you just create multiple copies of it. It will be copied here, it will be copied here. Okay, so I hope you understand. Prototype is a word which in itself is very expressive. It conveys the information that it helps you create a new object from a prototype. Okay, so this is what prototype does. Prototype creates a copy. Okay, so if you have any object, for example, let's now come to software. Okay, let's say there is a class. I'll name this class as vehicle. Okay, or I'll name this, okay, that's fine, vehicle, or car. I think car is better. Vehicle is very generic. Okay, car has few things, like, let's say, I'll keep them all public for now. Car has few things like gear, steering. Okay, gear is there, steering is there, and let's say seat. Very minimalistic car. It's okay. Then we have an object of car called car equal to new car. Okay, if we have to create new copies of this car, then what can we do? Okay, let's say this is car 1. Okay, we need another copy of the exact, which is exact same as this car 1. What will we do? We will create car uh, car 2, and let's say there are some parameters also which will make it unique. It has gear G1, it has steering S1, and it has seat ST1. Okay, then when we create a new car, what can we do is we need to know the exact configurations of that car, the original car. Okay, new new car Again we will use g1, s1 and st1. Okay, and this is how we can create exact same copy. But it's not always this simple, because here we have taken only three parameters. Let's say a class takes 100 parameters. 100 parameters, then what are we going to do? Are we going to enter all these 100 parameters every time? This is prone to error, right? If there are 100, if, as soon as long as not as long as this number of variables keep on increasing, the probability of getting an error keeps on increasing, right? So this may be not the right idea for big classes. Or obviously when we are making something in software, we uh, consider scalability in mind. We consider we always take the worst case scenario. We think of like there will be multiple users, there will be hundreds and thousands of parameters when creating classes. So these things should be kept in mind, and for that scalability perspective, error handling perspective, this is not the right approach. Okay, then why do we need prototype pattern? We can use copy constructor, right? People can say this. So copy constructor will allow you to do just this: copy car3 equal to car1. So this will solve our problem. Car 3 will be created from car 1, car 4 will be created from car 1. Yes, this is good. This is right. But copy constructor has a problem. The problem with copy constructor is shallow copy. Copy constructor does shallow copy. What is shallow copy? This obviously is not the right video for explaining shallow copy, but I will try to do it in a very quick and efficient way. Okay, what is shallow copy? Shallow copy is, let's say, if you have created car 3 as car 1, and there is some change. For example, let's say uh, car 1, also keep in mind that gear, steering and seat are also their own classes. Okay, gear will have its own class, seat will have its own class, steering will have its own class. So it means these are all complex objects, right? This is a complex object, it's not a simple object. So in case of complex object, shallow copy presents a problem. The problem is, if let's say I decide that I want to change the gear of car 3. Okay, car 3 dot gear, earlier it was g1, now it has to become g2 after this car 3 is created. Okay, now we created this. Now if you want to print the gear of car 3, let's say you print car 3 dot gear, what will happen is it will print g2. But the problem comes when you try to print the gear of car 1. It will also print g2. This is called shallow copy. Okay, so this is what you want to avoid. You do not want a shallow copy of your class because you only want to change car 3. Why did car 1 get changed? Right? I hope this explains the problem of shallow copy. But also, yes, remember, shallow copy comes with complex objects. Okay, it does not come with simple object. Let's say if it was an integer or a string, then this problem would not have come. A char. For the simple objects, the problem does not come. It comes for the complex objects. So if let's say your car has some, let's say car 1 is like new car. It has gear G1, S1 and ST1, and you have to create a car 2 from, or car 3 from this car 1. What you will do is you have to make sure that this mm, car 1, when it's created, first of all you need to define a, this is wrong actually, first you need to define your own copy constructor, right? Copy constructor, which itself is a big task, because you need to handle everything in the copy constructor. And this copy, you need to make sure that this copy constructor handles the deep copy thing, because I have to override shallow copy, right? And after that only you can use copy constructor like this. Remember, The system provides this constructor, destructor, and copy constructor by default. Almost every compiler provides it. But if you have to do some things like this, it's better to use your own copy constructor rather than using the system created copy constructor, right? So that's why even copy constructor is not useful. Creating an object using class or the constructor is also not useful. That's when prototype pattern comes for our rescue. Prototype pattern uses deep copy. First of all, you remember this. Okay. Now, how we are going to achieve this? Okay. Also, yes, there is one more problem with this approach. The problem is it is possible. Let's say also we are not going to use these in the same class, right? This we know that this car is here, but we are not going to use the car class here. We are going to use it somewhere else because there is no point creating an object of the same class in the same class. So what we are going to do is, the problem is earlier the class car had whatever things it was public. Okay, gear, seat, steering, but it may also have private things. Let's say something A, something B, something C is private. Okay, and if we want to create a car 1, let's say it is already created, and now we have to create car 2 using the constructor, then we do not know these configurations because private configurations are not exposed. We use that using the getters and setters, and if we do not have that, we cannot use it. This is another problem, the private objects or the private variables of the class. Okay, so that's why just assume, not assume, for now agree that copy constructor and the constructor method creating an object from another object is not possible. We have to use prototype pattern. I hope I have given enough examples to uh, convince you. If not, you can comment on this video. I will try to make another video on this thing, or you can google it, whatever you like. But yeah, we need prototype pattern. Okay. How do we use prototype pattern? Let's see the code. We use a function called clone. Okay, let's say we have a car. Okay, I will reuse this. We have a car. It has these things and it has a constructor also. Let's assume we have a constructor which takes something, these things itself, gear, seat, gear, seat, steering. How do we define this constructor? This dot gear equal to gear. Similarly for the seat and steering, you know that, right? Okay, next we implement a function or method called clone. Okay, this will be of type car clone, and what this will do is, let's say this will return a new car. Okay, configurations, yes, you can give it, but for now just assume that return a car with this object, because this, what does this represent? This represents a pointer to the current object, right? So whichever object calls this, it will be cloned. For example, now we have a car 1 equal to new car, gear G1, seat, steering S1, seat ST2. Okay, and now if I have to create a new car 2, what I can do is I can just say car1 dot clone. This clone function, what it does is, see, it creates a new car using this pointer. It means that it will create it using all the uh, parameters of this car1 and give it to car2, and car2 is now ready for us to use. Later, if we decide to change some things of car2, that is not going to affect car1 because it is a deep copy. This is where prototype pattern helps us. uh, I hope this explains the prototype pattern, why we use it. Always remember, we may deal with complex classes. The classes will always not be this simple with 3 variables. There are hundreds of variables in some classes. So, and copy constructor and constructor do not allow us to do it because of the private variables, the shallow copy, different things. So prototype pattern comes to rescue and helps us here. That's it. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.